At this point, this is an easy prediction to make. I mean, we've been hearing one bank representative after another praise tokenization, praise DLT technology, claim they want it from small banks to medium to the larger banks. They want it across the board for different reasons, of course, but it doesn't make a difference to you and I. I mean, listen, not financial advice, but it doesn't make a difference as long as they want the technology. As long as they're going to use the technology, then there is a flood of money coming into the technology in the future that will explode those prices. Simple as that. But it is good that we hear from others that are within the private sector, like Monica Long, who is making this claim right here. So this article is titled XRP Ledger in the Spotlight, as usual, as Ripple president predicts banks will embrace tokenization. So wait a minute. So first of all, save this article, screenshot this, save this article, right? In my humble opinion, I think that's what most people should do. But number one, you have her saying this. Then you had Stuart Alderati. This was about a year and a half ago. Remember when Stuart Alderati said he believed that banks would use XRP as well? Listen, it's a setup, right? It's a beautiful setup, one that's positive and beneficial for the people. They knew a long time ago, I said this, that the banks they're not going to be able to catch up. This is why I wasn't really concerned when they worked with all these institutions. And, I heard a lot of you told me, well, they're just handing over their technology. And I knew that just could not be the case. Why would you hand over everything if that was going to cut you out of this big pie that everybody's going to be eating? All this money. No, you give them a little bit. This is like, I hate to phrase it this way. This is like lower levels. Let me not phrase it that way. But in certain circumstances, people will give you a little bit of something, get you hooked on it. Right? They got the banks hooked on it. Now the banks have to come to them for the more potent aspect of that. You get what I'm saying? And that's what it is now. They couldn't catch up. Now they literally need the technology or they're going to fall behind. Keep in mind also, listen, I'm just giving you the facts. They're in a vicious competition against, what do you call it? My apologies. I'm like receiving messages as I'm doing this and it's throwing me off a little bit. They're in a vicious competition with non-banking financial institutions, mainly any type of NBFI, money market account or money market fund, things like that, alternatives to banks. They have been losing that battle. We listened to the banking system cry about that all 2024. Right. So they need something to boost themselves. They need something that's like a shot of steroids in their veins so they can become more powerful and be what they once were. Not only that, notice how there obviously are forces outside of them that want this to happen because the media, they haven't been able to control the media like they used to, right? Whatever forces control the media have been allowing dirt to be thrown on the banks, rightfully so. I mean, they are the ones going to court. The banks are the ones that have been getting in trouble since 2023. We've covered a lot of articles about the banks getting in trouble. So that dirt getting thrown on their name is pushing customers away from the banks more and more. So now they're really desperate. They really need the technology. So when Monica Long comes out and says, we believe that banks are going to embrace tokenization, that's not coming from a guess. That's not coming from her just sitting around twiddling her fingers and then she just had a thought. No, that's coming from all the bank executives she's talked to. That's coming from all the different meetings she sat in with bank representatives, all the testing of the technologies, hearing that they're satisfied with it. That's where it's coming from. This is big time. We're in the big time now, folks. So it continues on here. It says Ripple president Monica Long has waded into the conversation regarding banks' mainstream adoption of tokenized offerings. Because, they've been trying things out here and there, tokenization of bonds, T-bills, etc. Different things, different stuff. But the mainstream is right around the corner. That's what all of them are excited about. Not just the banks, the large businesses, the big money is excited about that, right? And they've been making it clear. I have an article somewhere in here. I don't know where, but it was released today. And there was some big organization talking about how they want to use the tech. They try to separate crypto from the tech. There's some organizations are still doing that. Like, well, we want to use the DLT technology. We're not so much interested in crypto, whatever. Doesn't make a difference to me how they want to compartmentalize things, fragment it. through compartmentalization of the different parts of it. Doesn't make a difference. Everything, we learned this from David Schwartz, everything that comes across the XRPL or any of these chains is going to affect that native crypto. It serves a purpose. It has utility. And that's the beauty of this, right? But anyway, mainstream adoption of tokenization offerings. According to Long, many banks are already embracing crypto, but more can jump on the bandwagon with the right regulation. And there you have it. The right regulation is coming through now. It's getting set up. So when that regulation comes through, crypto will be unleashed. Golden age begins. Lots of millionaires being made. Lots of people living much better, having a good time, having a good life. Facts. That's just how it is, folks. I don't make this stuff up. I just report to you what I've been researching. So, and that goes right along with the whole NFT thing. And all NFTs will come back. We had an article recently, and I told people this. Now you're hearing the big shots, so-called big shots, right? A lot of people listen to these big shots. You're hearing them say it now. They were saying what I've been saying for years. Fine art. That's just one thing. But fine art is going to take over when it comes to NFTs. But I'm just throwing that in there because it just came to my mind when I'm talking about this stuff here. But the golden age is a lot of things are going to go up. And DOT is going to absolutely dominate. Make no mistake about it. My humble opinion, you could disagree with that. I'm fine with that. So now let's move on here. So now I want to see, let's touch on this, okay? I was debating between these two articles. I'm going to touch on this one very lightly because I think people are starting to see the vision when it comes to stablecoins, at least the way that companies like Ripple are going to be using stablecoins, etc. They're using it as a doorway. They told you that to bring business in. They told you that. And now you're just seeing it confirmed. We got this article from payments.com and it says this bank CEO says stablecoins are the newest payment rail. So this is what I take from this. They're embracing it. They're showing outwardly that they have a zeal for this. They want it, which means what? They're coming to your chains, whatever blockchain that you support. That's a utility coin company. They're loving these utility coin companies, what they offer with the stable coins. But once they come in through the door via stable coins, they're going to want more. Listen, companies always want more. Companies always want what's better. Stable coins are nowhere near what's best. Nowhere. So let's think about this for a moment. The companies, they like stable coins, but what they're saying they want something much faster than the current products, not stable coins, just of the legacy system, something much faster, 24/7, 365. They can do these transactions. It can accommodate them in a variety of different ways. Listen, the only things that can do something like that are like the mechanisms that use something like XRP or something like Quant or something like Chainlink or Link, something like Solana, XLM, things like that. They have the mechanisms to do this. So that's why a lot of people's eyes are on those things, especially something like XRP, where a lot of banks already have an interest in it. XRP is already in the door. So this makes perfect sense, but just understand that stable coins are a beginning point. Everything is changing over the last few years. If you see it, first they didn't like crypto, now they love crypto. They didn't like Bitcoin at first, now they love Bitcoin. They didn't like stable coins at first, but it was kind of mixed. So, the Fed was so mixed up, it was insane. First they didn't like stable coins, then they loved stable coins, then they didn't like them again, now they love them again, right? That's going to continue. Same thing with crypto. Crypto is having its time these last few years. Well, more than a few, right? Quite a bit of years where retail dominated it. All right. And it was very popular with retail. That's going to start to level out. Now it's becoming popular with the companies. They want that utility. Regular people don't care about utility, but the companies do. So you're going to start to see that segment become very, very active. You're seeing it already, right? So stable coins are only a beginner point. It's not where things will remain. Just my humble opinion. We shall see if I'm correct. We'll monitor these things going into the future, but I just wanted to show that this bank CEO says stablecoins are the newest payment rail. They're excited about it. They want it. They're going to flood money into these utility coin blockchains that offer things like this. This is why Ripple is doing what they're doing with their stablecoin, right? All right, so now let's move on from there. XRP and Solana ETFs could draw $14 billion in capital, JP Morgan says. Now, my apologies, a giant ad popped up right in front of the article and I couldn't see the title. So $14 billion in capital, obviously that's just a starting point. XRP and Solana are hot like fire, even without an ETF. Once they get an ETF, and it makes it very easily for a lot of these other people to jump in, and a lot of these businesses to jump in, they're going to just explode. Forget a fire. There's, full conflagration. Haven't used that word in a long time. Banking giant JP Morgan has forecasted the next wave of cryptocurrency exchange traded funds focusing on Solana and XRP. These two could experience substantial growth. That's saying a lot coming from JP Morgan. I just read an article earlier where Jamie Dimon once again, and of course he's talking about Bitcoin, but I'm going to assume that this energy of his, this negativity that he's shown over the years towards Bitcoin, it expands to the rest of crypto as well. Oh, Bitcoin is bad. Bitcoin has no intrinsic value. He did say that part. I'm paraphrasing on the rest of it, of course. But so coming from JP Morgan telling people, hey, listen, XRP and Solana are going to be hot like fire. That's significant in my opinion, right? They don't have to say that, right? It shows to me, or it hints to me, is undeniable at this point that these two are going to take off. They've been doing well, even with the dips. They come up again, they time and time again. Last I saw earlier in the day, everything was looking green at one point in the day. That's all I know. I looked at the charts one time today. Everything looked green. I was like, oh, that's interesting. Okay. A lot of resilience in the markets lately, right? That's positive. That's very, very positive. Then it says this. The bank has projected that these ETFs could draw as much as $14 billion in investments within their first year. Specifically, Solana ETFs. Haven't I been telling people Solana's bullish? Now JP Morgan's telling people these businesses, they love Solana. I'm telling you, and the regular people love Solana as well. It's winning from both angles, but let's continue. It says specifically, Solana ETFs are estimated to attract between $3 billion and $6 billion, while XRP ETFs could amass between $4 billion and $8 billion in net new assets. Matthew Sigel, head of digital asset research at Van Eck, shared JP Morgan's forecast on social media platform X, emphasizing how quickly new crypto ETFs can grow. All right, listen, crypto is about to become very, very serious business. Now, I remember when I first got into, making videos for crypto, like about 3.5 years or so ago, whenever that first video was posted. And one of the things a lot of, legacy system people were saying was that crypto needed to be legitimized. It didn't have the respect. And I mean, it made perfect sense. It's starting to get that respect now. That's huge. That respect brings more money. That respect brings more partnerships. And that's what's going to really make crypto explode. Once you have everybody, not everybody, right? It's not like 100% of people. I don't mean it that way. But once you have a majority of people and companies behind that asset class, that's when things really get bullish. That's when things really are going to be in that golden age. And I don't think a lot of people understand that. Right? They think they've seen it all when it comes to crypto. No, I humbly disagree. I don't think you've seen anything just yet, but not just you. I don't think I've seen anything just yet, but I do feel like I have the foresight to understand there's something major coming, period. Bitcoin, I expect to go boom. Utility coins, I expect the bank coins. I expect to go boom, especially when we take that bank money, and that bank money is coming. This is what President Monica Long of Ripple is trying to tell people. In a variety of ways. CLO, Stuart Alderati told people that things are going good. Garlinghouse is telling them it's not just because they work for the company. You have a lot of people outside the company saying XRPL is doing good work. Ripple is doing good work. SBI is doing good work. You have a lot of people that were enemies. I've been here for a few years. They were enemies. They hated XRPL. They hated XRP. See how that turned around now? Some of them are now praising XRP and XRPL. Some of them are now trying to work with Ripple, and they were opponents, right? There's a reason for that, folks. Every cause has a B cause. Every effect has a cause. All right, so now we're going to move on from there. Let's move on here. Okay, so now we're getting to a little bit of Bitcoin news. The big dog, Bitcoin. This article is titled, Bitcoin Bull Tom Lee sees Bitcoin reaching as high as $250,000. Now, let me tell you something, folks. I haven't upgraded my my price projection for Bitcoin. I'm going to keep it at 150 for now, $150,000 for now, but I really feel it could go much higher than that. And that's been increasing. That feeling has been increasing, right? So I'm not saying the same thing over and over. I'm telling you that feeling is increasing where I think it could go much, much higher than that. I'm seeing certain actors in the world doing things with Bitcoin now, taking an interest in Bitcoin that I would have never thought. And we'll get to an article like that after this one. Everybody wants a piece of Bitcoin. So what does that mean for the future? Various governments, various banks looking into Bitcoin, playing with it a little bit. You saw those articles that came out the other day, playing with Bitcoin, playing with the idea of Bitcoin, right? I mean, there's the regular people obviously want to profit off of Bitcoin. There's allegedly going to be a lot of positive legislation towards Bitcoin around the world as well. So it's going to be fully unleashed. Man, what does that do to the price? See, I know one of you is wise enough out there to sort of crunch all of these different numbers and variables together and come up with a price prediction. I just haven't been able to do that just yet. I just know potentiality. If the potentiality was here, now it's here. It's gotten bigger. That's how I'm viewing things in a sort of less abstract way than I would have viewed it in the past. But anyway, let's continue on with this. Let me read this a little tidbit to you. All right. Fundstrat's head of research, Tom Lee, calls for a potential short-term drawdown, but remains bullish regarding the end of year target. I think so far things have looked pretty good for Bitcoin resilience, and there's been a negative catalyst, right? Negative catalyst that could have brought Bitcoin down significantly, both in the West and in the East. Did you see the one in the East? There's a negative catalyst in the East coming from the East. They just authorized a certain activity. Those who read a lot of articles, you know what I'm talking about. So, but still, even with that looming over Bitcoin's head, I'm personifying Bitcoin now, but looming over Bitcoin's head, still, it's very resilient. That is very, very positive. That's very, very bullish. You got to do like a triple B. You can do a quieter. It's better. Try it with me. Bullish. Yeah, you got to cut loose sometimes, man. Forget the world and what they think. You can't live your life like that. Just say it with me one time. It feels good. I'm telling you, it's an explosion of energy. We emanate energies. Bullish, and that's a positive energy. Little things go a long way at times. So anyway. Fundstrat's head of research, Tom Lee, calls for the end of year target for Bitcoin between $200,000 and $250,000. Tom Lee sees a potential short-term correction based on Fibonacci levels for Bitcoin as low as $70,000. I wouldn't be surprised, but I'm starting to doubt that they could bring it down that low, but I really shouldn't. I really, really shouldn't. Crypto is a crazy place. Anything can happen. Anything can happen. Predictions are fun, but in crypto... Yeah, it's a wild place. So predictions be damned. It really doesn't matter what you predict. We don't know what's going to happen. But I mean, sure, we can look at different variables and go with what's more likely. But really with crypto will take your likely, like it's a table. It will take your likely table, then it will flip that table over anytime it wants to, right? Am I lying? It says the consolidation between $90,000 and $100,000 for Bitcoin continues to play with investor sentiment, swinging from fear to greed. And then it goes into a little bit of what happened recently. On Monday, Bitcoin fell below $90,000 while it is above $96,500 on Tuesday. See what I mean? These wild swings. I find it quite interesting, quite fun. I have no doubt Bitcoin is going to, I'm long-term with Bitcoin right now, right? And with a piece of the Bitcoin that I have, super long-term, super long-term, but my long-term with the massive Bitcoin is not as long as most people. I'm gonna tell you right now, that 150 come around, I'm eyeballing Bitcoin. I'm telling you. So now I want to just show you this. Like, there's so many places that are playing with Bitcoin. There's no way the future isn't massively explosive. No way. Right now, if it changes, I'm going to let people know, like, hey, what I'm seeing right now, if the energy changes to a negative, hey, Bitcoin's going to go down. It's going to be bloody. Same thing like in a bloody bear market. We got to be realistic. But I'm telling you right now, it looks like it's very bullish for the foreseeable future. And I know not everyone feels that way, but like I said, I'm including all the volatility. I'm including the dips and the massive corrections possibly in there. I'm including that, and still, that does not change the upward trajectory of Bitcoin right now. So now this article is titled "Syria Exploring the Embrace of Bitcoin." Listen, folks, I just wanted to show, because we talk about the United States possibly doing something with Bitcoin. We've talked about, was it India also? There's a lot of different nations. Just type that in, do a Google search on nations that are considering utilizing Bitcoin to any capacity. And you're going to see some interesting things. But even now, even Syria, right? So this makes me believe everybody wants a piece of Bitcoin. Top to bottom, left to right, it doesn't matter where they come from. They want a piece of, they see a benefit in Bitcoin. And what does that mean to people that love Bitcoin, want to make some capital of Bitcoin? That means Bitcoin is super bullish. That means value is going to be coming in from all over the world more than it ever has before. That's positive. That's bullish. That's a real good. You got to say it like that. You start up high, go low. Real good. Yeah. So I just wanted to put that on your table. Wow. You know what El Salvador is doing with Bitcoin? Man, listen. Okay, so I'm going to leave that there. Let's move on to this article. I just wanted to touch on that very lightly. So now, back to a little bit of Cardano news. Haven't covered a little bit of Cardano in a while, but Charles Hoskinson is still saying Cardano will be integrating Ripple RLUSD. So the Bankcoin conglomeration continues to expand. Those partnerships, the working together continues to expand. You have Ripple working with Hedera, Ripple working with Cardano. There was someone else. Ripple now working with Chainlink, which I put the video out. I put my thoughts out there about that. You got that connect. There's a connection there that's interesting. Although I saw a lot of people don't agree with that. I can respect that, right? It's good that we all think differently. All right. So now it says this. I'm going to read this little tidbit here. Cardano founder Charles Hoskinson confirmed talks with Ripple to integrate RLUSD, Ripple's new regulatory approved stablecoin. It says RLUSD adoption could expand with Cardano's DeFi ecosystem, boosting usage and offering benefits for both communities. That would be very positive. And I don't know what the Cardano community is like now, but it was very strong at one point. My goodness, it was. So those two communities coming together, those two technologies, and they're both very potent technologies coming together. And I'm sure this is just a beginning. I'm sure they'll work on other projects beyond this if this happens, So we'll keep an eye on that. And then we're going to close out here. Just a little bit of Chainlink news. We haven't covered Chainlink in a while, but Link is one of our favorite tokens here on the channel for quite some time now, and I believe is more bullish than most people are anticipating. Chainlink price prediction. Whales acquired $20 million in Link. All right. So it says this: Chainlink price edged towards the $20 territory on Tuesday, racing into a 10% surge. All right. It says on-chain data shows whale investors have been buying the dip while the crypto price declined over the past week. It says, is Link on the verge of a major price breakout? In long term, I believe so. Massively, especially as crypto goes mainstream and more people learn about Link. And as more people enter crypto, they're going to ask, what are the serious projects? I really feel that way. There's two extremes to crypto right now. One extreme is looking at like meme coins or quick money, things like that. They're willing to take a very, very high risk. To each his own. And then the other extreme is looking for serious projects. They're a little bit more traditional. They're like, well, what's a serious project? What companies are using this? What does it do? And when they hear about what Chainlink does, I think that a lot of capital is going to come Chainlink's way. But we'll keep an eye on that. But I think Link, because of that, is super bullish. The partnerships are unbelievable. But we shall see what's going to happen with Link in the future. And hopefully for all of the top cryptos, like I've been believing and saying, I believe they'll all be very, very successful. So now that you have that information, what are you going to do with it? I know what I'm going to do with it. So until next time, everybody, let's get to the money.